Not because it's too much for us to take in, but because we don't want to sit down and actually look at it and read it and digest it. Just like how they want to look at the Bible and they're going to quote Bible quotes and say that this Bible quote means whatever. And they'll do their research about Bible quotes, right? They're going to not look at the prophet's words in that perspective. When the prophet's words is more real to them, the prophet came in the 1900s speaking about divine truth. Bible is from thousands of years ago. You don't even know who wrote it, you don't even know whose version it is, but you're going to quote that. And then a man who was in your face, you don't want to take what he's saying as the divine truth. But you're going to take these guys' literature that they claim is from God, and that it's messengers that wrote this. When there was a man in their face that was talking higher truth than even that, and they didn't want to consider it. Yeah.
You know, Bridget, I think it connects where what the conflict is about is they do not want to see the so-called black people naturalized and actually free. Because now if the Moors, right, for example, could officially be free, because you know everybody's being played like a puppet, right? I'll make mention of that. But if the Moors could actually be free and they have their own nation, for example, those people couldn't get away with that. You know, the same way that they run from whatever they run from in this society. If the so-called black people were free, they cannot get away with that, because we officially then can operate under our laws. You know, so the sellout is trying to prevent us from actually reaching that full salvation, exactly like what the prophet is talking about. They don't want us to be a real nation. You know?
But this is why he said this is supposed to be proclaimed every meeting. Like he said it. This is supposed to be proclaimed in every meeting. So regardless of whatever school of thought that exists today right now, right? All those schools of thought came out of what the prophet brought in 1913. Every school of thought. Because everybody had relations with the prophet. Like every single person, from founders of like the Nation of Islam like we talked about, the Pan-African movement like we talked about, UNIA movement, black Hebrews, Israelites, every single school of thought, their founders had direct relations with the prophet. Right? Before they started their organizations, they had relations with the prophet. And because they had relations with the prophet, they were supposed to take him serious, right? They were supposed to get down with the program, and we would have what you're talking about as that nation. Because everybody would have had one prophet that they say, yeah, that's the prophet from 1912, 1913. If all these NAACP, black African, whatever people that say that they have a certain group right now that's for the salvation of the people, there's no way that they had interactions with the prophet and didn't get down with it, but can't say that they're sellouts. Of course they're sellouts. Yeah, I know you're for the liberation of your people. Yeah, I know that, you know, you're trying to bring your people as under unity so that so-called black people could get something and advance as a nation. Yeah, I know that. I know what you're saying, Black Panther and Nation of Islam and Nation of Gods and Earths and all these people, all these individuals, right? We know that all those people had relations with the prophet, all of them. And they chose not to get down with the Prophet's program. Islam Moors.
Islam.
You know, you can all leave the rest of it.
I am, but I got to pay the parking.
Okay, all right. Islam is right.
That.
Right? So, yeah, like, it's not, and it has to be put in perspective, right? That there's quote unquote Rastafarian agreeing with what the Prophet said, which means that it's not something that's only for Moors. Because this person's in a different school of thought. But he's saying, yeah, well, it's the sellout. Recognizing it, that it's the sellout. The sellout is the one that did that messed up everything. But the sellout's still down. Nobody called out the sellout. The sellout's still able to get 1 million people to go march somewhere. But hold on a second, that guy's the sellout.
Ashe.
And that guy has followers still? You know what they do to sellouts in some other schools of thoughts and stuff like that?
Cast them aside.
You know what I mean? You know what happens to sellouts? Right? And on top of nothing that happened to the sellout, nobody talks about them. When it comes to sellouts, everybody's on the don't step on toes. You can't step on toes, you know what I mean? You can't burn bridges and all that type of stuff. Right? But the truth of the matter is that the man said proclaim this at every meeting. I came into this 2008. Right? 2008 I came into this, and that's when I got this information. But prior to that, when I was talking to Moors on MySpace and Moors on Facebook and Moors on all these social whatever, nobody could tell me about the stuff to be proclaimed in every meeting. Everybody wants to quote Circle 7, quote what Raleigh said, quote the Circle 7, Prophet said this, quote the 101s, call herself Moor Science Temple, call herself Grand Sheep, who's your Grand Sheep, what kind of flag are you under? Trying to find all these questions, right? Trying to find out all this stuff.
How you doing, King? Nice to see you.
And all I can do is get run around. And nobody can say, yo, nobody ever told you about the thing that's supposed to be proclaimed in every meeting? That as soon as I read this thing, I knew the level of what I was getting into. That this is the founder of the whole thing. This is the founder of the whole thing. And he's saying that it's people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke. He's not talking about people outside. He's saying people on our side of the nation that claim this was a joke. He didn't say Moors on our side of the nation. He said people on our side of the nation. Meaning all those individuals that sold out, wanted to be pastors and wanted to be masons and wanted to be whatever they want to be, except be what they really are divinely supposed to be, which is the Aboriginal and Indigenous heirs to the vast estate called North America. Right? Our side. The people that were on our side and then ran over to the other side are the ones that claimed it was only a joke and unreal. But now, So in his time, like, we're reading this in 2011. These are writings from the late 1920s. So you can't digest this based on today's society. You have to digest this from his perspective, so you can get a proper understanding of why he's calling out the sellouts. He's calling out the sellouts from back then. And he's saying that they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation.
I had a question. What is meant by those people claim it was only a joke? What is the joke that they're claiming is a joke and is unreal?
About the prophet and the movement.
Oh, they're saying the prophet is a joke.
They're saying the prophet's a joke.
Okay.
And what he's bringing is unreal, right? So he's directly saying that everybody who's not down with this, everybody who's not down with this, right? They basically sold out, right? They directly sold out just because they're sellouts. I've notified all these things to you long ago in the past. So he notified all these things to you long ago in the past. Now we have to digest the prophet and everything that he said, because everything the prophet said is spirit, so you Moors better heed. Everything I say is spirit, so you Moors better heed. Not only the stuff in the Quran, not only the Divine Constitution, not only the little books that you're going to get, the people who wrote down stuff that I said, everything that I say is spirit. So you Moors had better heed. And this, what we're doing right now, actually digesting this, was supposed to be done from 1913. So that Moors can have a proper perspective of what the Moorish movement is and what they're up against, saying that they want to be down with this. Because some people just aren't really going to be down with this. They'll be for it, they'll support it, but they won't be down with this. Like in this, like wearing this. And nothing's not wrong with that. That's cool. That's their position. But the ones that say that, you know, yeah, I see what the prophet's saying, you know, and that's pretty serious that he's saying that. And you're really digesting the fact that this is prophecy, because he's a prophet. You would see all of his things in a whole different light, and you would know immediately who those people are that claimed it was only a joke and that it was unreal, without even questioning anything, because you would have digested what the prophet said. So he's saying that he notified all these things, so everything that he said above this line, he brought that to you long ago in the past. He didn't bring that to you in the past. He brought that to you long ago in the past. So if you take this information that the prophet brought in the late 1920s, and we put that to long ago in the past, we're going to hear about those who sold out Yahshua, because it's the same story. We're going to hear about those in